Hey, Gabox here. So they're putting out a patch for franchise. Whoa, devoted to that completely. This is 100% the result of us complaining, and by us I mean the community. I didn't really lead or do anything in it, so shout out to y'all. But for all those people who say if you don't like it, stop playing it, stop complaining it, get fucked, nerds. I think it just got demonetized, as if that's in the first 30 seconds. I don't care. No ads today, except for the rock bottom a little bit. But here's the thing. Awesome, right? It's sure a small list, but there's going to be more as it comes along. EA did respond to the community earlier when we had that, NFL drop EA, that fix Madden franchise. Does this completely fix it? The title of the video? No, absolutely not, right? Whenever you see a question mark, it's like an old newspaper saying, whenever you see a question mark in the title, the answer is always no. So, it doesn't fix it, but it's on that first step, right? The classic Madden review, it's got some positive step forwards. And it has good steps forwards, but we kind of want them to jog and start running a little bit to make those steps forward a little bit quicker. But I do want to go through the franchise update deep dive, show what you're getting. I used to be huge in the franchise. Once I bought from the PS2 to the Xbox 360 generation, obviously PS2 to PS3, but that generation basically ruined Madden franchise. Then we had NFL head coach 08, 09-ish, and then I was like, okay, that's cool, because when they said, I'm just going through the history of franchise in my mind, for when I kind of hopped off the bandwagon. And then in Madden 10, 11, we're franchise, we decided to fold the NFL head coach studio into ours to make franchise better. I didn't find out until a couple of years later. They just basically fired everybody. And they brought over the draft class from head coach, which I saw, and I was very disappointed. Probably the biggest disappointment of my entire life was at buying Madden 10 and realizing they didn't bring anything over from head coach, like play creator, nothing. If they were literally just copied and pasted that game into Madden franchise, completely overrid it, that would have been the greatest Madden of all time. But sadly, they didn't, and it crushed my little poor beaten heart, just like the Steelers almost do every week. So let's do the sponsor before we go into the meat of the show. Rock Bottom Coins is the #1 place to get your Madden 21 coins. If you make coins for my videos, sell them to Rock Bottom. If you're buying, use my code GUTBOX for 15% off. So here we go. Let's go down, scroll past the title. They said, welcome back to Gridiron Notes, franchise fans. Good to see you for the first time. Here's the thing. Literally franchise for this entire generation has been the exact same thing. For this entire console generation. I gave up on it. I really haven't played it much in the last couple years because there really is no reason to. There's no new experiences. Same thing can be said about FIFA. Amazing that FIFA doesn't really care as much as Madden does. I think it's because, in Madden we kind of grew with franchise. We grew up on franchise in those great games, whereas FIFA maybe kind of grew more in the Ultimate Team versus franchise. So, priority for the team to make sure the updates a little post-launch do not require a restart, new franchise. Okay, so basically a priority of them is saying, okay, every time we update, we don't want to have to force you to start over. You put a lot of time and effort into your franchise. We want to make sure you can take these things in our update and basically just go forward with them. So I'd imagine that's kind of hard because save data, but you know what? That's the magic of ones and zeros. EA make it happen. And they seem to have said they did. While this takes a little extra time to develop each release, we've heard the feedback from the community on the issue. Now, if I were, obviously going into next year, right, Madden 22, you won't have this issue, so you can basically go balls to the wall in that game, especially because it's going to be next gen, but I would assume it's going to be on this last gen too. So it's a lot more complicated, hardware upgrades, differences to Code 4 PC too. But yeah, I can imagine it. We'll see. Maybe next year they'll have even more because they won't have to do this whole priority fix for new franchises saves. But the thing is, okay, even I don't know how many play Out of the Park Baseball. That's a franchise game. You can carry over your franchise mode from year to year. I don't think Madden has that. Like I said, I haven't played Madden franchise much in the last 3 years. I've dabbled in it a little bit, but that last time I really played it was probably 3 or 4 years ago, more hardcore. But keeping your franchise, I don't think you can go year to year, continue it in Madden, because I think there's a 30. Is there still a 30? There was a 30-year time limit in 04. I think there's still a 30-year time limit this year. So that's strange that hasn't changed. So there's really no reason to carry over year to year if you can only go 30 years. We are delivering the first of 3 Madden NFL franchise updates with this release. First of 3, okay? For the NFL 21 post-launch release, we have worked out franchise community members to come up with a number of updates focusing on improving usability for core users of the mode, as well as a number of tuning updates. Sorry, I'm kind of slurring a little bit, but it's interesting to see like which community members are they working with, right? Like who are they talking to? That'd be kind of neat to see like if them list them like in the like shout outs too. So that way like the rest of the community knows who like to give their feedback to allow them to pass it along. Obviously you can give it to their forums, their Madden voice, which they talk about right here. That this will be updated 48 hours after the update's release. I'll post this links in the description. You can click on Madden Voice and you know give your feedback there on franchise mode, of course. While the team delivers these features in Madden NFL 21 to improve utility and agency, we are hard at work on more significant features for the upcoming year and look forward to engaging with the community on that work in the near future. Dev trait regression tuning. Woo! If that don't get the panty dropping, I don't know what. Basically, I'm not going to go through this whole thing. Well, maybe I should go through the whole thing, but you can set how many superstar X factors that have the desired counts that are treated as the correct amount of each dev trait in your franchise mode. So like you can change the league settings around, allow the commissioner like, hey, we want 30 million superstars in this league. It's all gonna be superstars all across the board. Maybe not that many, but like a certain number you can put, and then like the game will auto adjust every offseason regress guys off of different abilities to basically fit the preferred number of your league. So that's kind of neat that like it'll do that. Obviously, you can turn this off, so they just like if you keep a you have a dev trait, you don't regress off of it. Not bad, right? I don't love turning it off because it makes sense. Guys progress and regress every year. Like the one thing about Madden is there's not enough randomness. I know people hate this in the franchise mode, like, oh my god, I got this like sweet 90 overall guy who played really well for me, and then like in the NFL, guys fall off a cliff. Right? Guys like last year play this year, like Lamar Jackson, right? MVP, like everybody would be raging at how poorly, if this was their franchise, how poorly Lamar Jackson's playing. Now, some of that could be argued on some of, I don't know, guys catching, like league catching up to him, but like, is that his innate traits going down? Because his accuracy looks worse, his reads look worse, his legs don't look worse at all. So, I don't know. Guys go up, guys go down. That's the nature of the league. Injuries happen. I know I like turning injuries off when I play franchise mode because it's just annoying, right? The fact that Goodell left injuries on for his franchise mode, I think they should fire Goodell for that one. So we have also tuned the criteria to receive a breakout dev scenario for all positions to prevent an overabundance of high dev traits after multiple years. Breakout dev scenario. And make sure we've increased the dev on players who truly deserve it. So like the breakout dev scenario is kind of cool. It basically is like, hey, maybe I get a young stud I drafted late in the 6th round named Tom Barrasso, and he's not an old goaltender for the Penguins, Tom Barrasso, and he breaks out, right? That'd be a great breakout dev scenario. He starts up, he fills in for the injured, like Wally Pipped for Gehrig, or Brady for Bledsoe. I just blew it, but he can Wally Pip him and then become like the greatest of all time. So I kind of like that. More scenarios, more, a little bit of stability, but like some guys just break out and become that thing and then become like, oh my god, the next hotness. There will also be 3 new quarterback breakout dev scenarios that can go throughout your seasons. Oh, okay, that's what I was kind of talking about. Sorry, I read ahead. I read this obviously beforehand, and I, thought of my remarks, but I was a paragraph too ahead. They don't want an overabundance of high dev traits. Makes sense. You got to make superstars play like superstars. Is the old Madden word. All right, playoff bracket. Basically, they added a playoff bracket. Cool. It's fine. I never really when I play my franchise modes, I never really pay too much attention. I can just look at the standings and figure it out myself. Player card career stats. All right, 100% needed. They need this stuff in MUT too. Career stats for all the players. Very neat. Basically plays at what team they played on, how many stats they have for that year. I mean, it just gives a little bit more depth to the franchise, a little bit sense of history. So good job putting the stats there, putting them all in there. I don't have any other words for that other than yes, 100% needed. I mean, could we have said this should have been in the game if this wasn't the game? Yes, but we got it now, right? That's all I can say. We got it now, so what? Better late than never. X Factor customization. Commissions will be able to edit the abilities on the players that are controlled by other players and the CPU as well. Good. I mean, like, commissioners in an online franchise league, make or break it. Like, I've been in a league where they broke it, so... But if it's a well-run league with a commissioner that can do that, I don't really know why the reason a commissioner would or should do this, unless they're, commissioning their own league. But in a large league, I don't know people get kind of salty for an online franchise if a commissioner just gave an X Factor to somebody randomly. And I mean, I'm sure there would be a lot of furiousness on the group chat. But they must still be the overall threshold and the specified archetype if they're able to apply it. So you can't just go ahead and throw human joystick on every single player on your team, because that would be kind of cool. Retirement improvements. All right, this always was kind of weird where they never really showed who retired. You just kind of had to guess. Like, they had this in old Maddens, right? They had it in old Maddens. They have it in like every franchise mode ever. Again, one of those better late than nevers, right? It's horrible that we haven't had it, but yeah, good that we got it now. Now, here's what they're doing for mid-January. So that's what they have done. This is literally everything that they've done since that one outrage. So this is for everybody complaining, not giving up completely on Madden. Again, a round of applause for you for making them pay attention to franchise mode. I really hope they get rid of face of the franchise. That shit is ass. Get rid of it. Put all that effort into franchise gameplay. Mutt, please. Put it into the stuff that actually people want to play. Get out of face of the franchise is such a disaster. Please do not put that in next year's game. Just reassign them all right? So, we will also want to share the teams we got for the next franchise update for Madden NFL 21, which is targeted to arrive in mid-January. Okay, so we got, 4 months for this. The thing is, I would assume it takes a while to, hey, all right, staff, who are we going to reassign to franchise mode? All right, how are you going to work on it? We got a game plan. That probably took a week or two, and then they've been working on it, testing it for the last 3 months or so. So, I mean, these things take time in the real world, right? The bureaucracy needs to churn. The people need to be able to put out their work. It needs to be tested, needs to be retested, reconfigured, doesn't crash everything. Although it's the EA, so I'm sure some stuff will crash with it. But we're used to it. We're vets. We also wanted to share the teams we're working on for next franchise update for Madden NFL 21, which is targeted to arrive in mid-January. Personnel logic improvements. Cool. CPU draft logic to assist teams whether they should or should not have interest in drafting a first-round quarterback. Addresses teams drafting 2 first-round quarterbacks in consecutive years. Wait, what? Will there be no more Cardinals? Is it illegal? Oh, man. Nobody's going to get Rosen anymore, I guess. Along with other roster context consideration, QB is a more authentic winner developed before replacement is considered to be drafted. Okay, all right, whatever. Whatever you say. It totally takes me out of the real life, right? Unrealistic. But no, obviously, a horse crap CPU really breaks the mode, right? We all love taking advantage of the CPU. But when they do absolutely boneheaded stuff, we're like, okay, that's a little rough, right? That's too much. It's like fighting a toddler. Sure, it might be a fair fight if there's 100 of them, but I don't want to fight a toddler, right? The CPU is tough, so untough. It's not like chess level CPU, which will destroy us all in the future when it becomes sentient. Commissioner controls, undo free agent signings, off-season only. Commissioners are able to undo them. Cool. Commissioner controls. It's really cool that they're giving more commissioner controls because they need to have power. They are the dictator of the leagues, and some people there have some fuckboy shit in them. So good. I'm glad that they're giving more controls for customizable commissioner stuff. Team override settings. Gives commissioner be able to turn off on to allow individual settings for heat seeker ball. I don't like that at all. That's kind of weird. I think that's stupid. Switch, dude. If a league has switch assist on, that's whack. I don't know. I hate switch assist. That shit shouldn't be on. I can see people wanting to disable them, but there's no reason. Whatever. Let people play how they want. But you know what? Commissioner controls. A lot of people want it, so they can get it. Commissioner draft tools. Ability to assign autopilot during the draft along with pause resume functionality. This has been a top community question I've used. I 100% agree with this. This was a great one. This one, not so much, right? I feel like this features from players that are like, oh my god, he had switch assist on. He's cheesing me. It's like, I lost because he had switch assist on. I lost because he had ball hawk and I had it up. Like, what? Dude, no. What? Allowing players to play how they want should be the way it goes. I think that's dumb. This one's really cool, though. I know a lot of leagues have, the anti-spam. And Madden 21 is not like Madden 20. There's still some spam, but with zone drops the way they are, dude, Madden 21 is the best game-playing Madden of all time. I'm not even going to... There's no qualifications around that. Madden 21 is significantly better than Madden 20, better than Madden 19, 18, etc. Right? It's so good. If I see somebody spam a play against me online and I lose, that's on me, man. And in previous years, last year where they were abusing rollout corner, stretch dive, I'm like, okay, that's on them. They're kind of dicks. This was great. This would be great for last year. And I'm sure like, and see, some CFMs is a lot lower of a skill level sometimes. So allowing players not to spam stuff that maybe people don't know the counters for because they're not as big of nerds as, say, you and I maybe. They're not, like, fucking into this game and play it 5 hours a day. It's probably a good idea for the more casual leagues to allow people, because it's kind of like fighting games, right? In a fighting game, if like you're a beginner, someone just spams the same thing over and over, it makes for bad gameplay, right? Even though there are tools to beat it at like higher level skills, not everybody's that way. So I like that. I like this idea for sure. I think it was a solid house rules for without a doubt, and cool that commissioners will be getting it in January. Overall, I mean, like I said, positive step forward, right? Community, really nice job. Holding their feet to the fire, making them do this stuff, making them put it out. So, cheers all around, right? Obviously, it's never enough, but they're on the right path so far. All right, let me know what you guys think in the comments about everything with franchise. Do you play it? Do you not? Are you excited about this? Positive going forward? There's going to be 3 of these. These look like the first 2. We'll see what we get later in the year with it, and then into Madden 22.